Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi. I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates, Season 2, Episode 36. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notification so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Bill coming home and bringing Hayley some flowers, and he made it look like her bouquet or whatever. So he recreated her bouquet. So they talk about them almost making a year and the town having a pull on them, thinking they won't make it that year or whatever. Um, they talk about the guy who robbed them and him being put behind bars, and um Hayley is over there, putting 20 on 10 as usual or whatever. And Bill, um what happened? Child, this when it comes to the Bill and Hayley of it all, it's annoying because Bill is too smart to be acting this dumb and not catching what Hayley is throwing. So she putting 20 on 10. He's eating out eat just like he's eating it up. He's believing every word she's saying. She's doing the absolute most. Um she finds out that the guy is going to be put behind, he could get up to 15 years, and she was just like, oh, she doesn't want to testify. She wants them to do a plea deal because she's feeling bad that they set up this black man or whatever. Um but Bill is telling her, yeah, it don't even matter. Even if you don't testify, they got enough evidence against him to put him behind bars for a good 15 years or whatever. So she feeling away. So she starts to talk about, she starts asking him if he can get if he could talk to the prosecutors to get Lynette's case thrown out or whatever. And he was just like, well, I gave that case to Tomas. And she's just like, yeah, but he doesn't have the clout to do what you can. And she just really wants she wants to pay Lynette back for saving her life or whatever. And she feels like the case being thrown out is what's going to pay Lynette back or whatever. And Bill is just like, yeah, well, you're a little too confident in my abilities. I don't know about that. And he's like, they're talking about that. Then he gets a phone call from Elon, and Elon lets him know that the guy was released. And so he's pissed about that. Now Hayley's scared because she's just like, I put him behind bars and he's gonna come after me. He knows where we live and all this other stuff. And so Bill is trying to get in touch with Joey, but he's not answering. So he wants to go to the casino to talk to Joey, but Hayley, like, she stops him. She uses sex to keep him in the house. So, child, I guess that is what it is. So we see Joey. He is on the phone with somebody initially, and he's just like, I need to get this person out. We find out he done got and his name is Wesley Hammer. He done got Wesley Hammer out, and he's asking him, like, did you do it? Do all this other stuff? And he's just like, no, I didn't do it. People play tricks on me all the time. I may have this name Sledgehammer, but I'm a big softy. And Joey basically tells him, I believe you, and June vouched for you, so that's the only reason why I'm believing you. So what I'm gonna do is give you some money to get out of town, and don't come back, basically. So he leaves. We're gonna see him again later in the episode, and we'll get back to that. We see June, Samantha, and Kat. They're at Orphe Jean's. Kat walks away for a second to make a call, or she gets a call, and she's talking to Tomas, and Tomas is telling her to meet him at Uptown once he's done with his meeting that he's having with the client or whatever. So we get back to them, and they're talking about the cotillion, and Kat is like, okay, so what do I need to do? Do I need to find somebody to, escort you? And so she tells them about the offer about Vanessa, and what Vanessa offered or whatever. So she's just like, okay. So then they start talking again. They start talking about the cotillion, and June wants to make sure that Donnell is a good person, and Kat's just like, it's not a date. He's just here to, um, he's just here to escort her, and the night is about Samantha or whatever. Then they start talking about Anita, and June is like, giving her props, and she's happy that you know, Anita came out or whatever, and she has Anita in her prayers. Then they start talking about how Anita wants everybody to get a mammogram, and Samantha's just like looking at her like, and so she'll just like out June, she was looking at June like that, and June was just like, I'll talk to my doctor when I go to my next appointment or whatever. So we see what's this girl's name? Vanessa. She's there with her son, and she's basically telling him, I want you to be an escort. And he automatically says yes because of Nicole and Danny, and how they, talked about Doug at his repast or his funeral. And he was just like, they gave my father back to me with all the stories that they were giving. So they want to pay her. He wants to pay them back, and by going to the cotillion with Samantha, he feels like that's his way of paying them back. Not Samantha. Vanessa tells him, you don't owe her anything, but he's just like, no, he wants to do it. So then they start talking about Deanna, and he's just like, oh, Deanna she's doing a little bit better. She's wearing clothes now. She's putting, like, not that she wasn't wearing clothes before, but she was always in sweats, but now she's dressing up now. And her friends even signed her up for a dating app. And so Vanessa's just like, okay, well, that's good. What's a dating app? And he was just like, I don't know. It's like heart something. And she was just like, heart attack. She was just like, yeah, that's it. And Vanessa shook because, that's her company. So she goes on to explain to him like what, like low key explain it to him without telling him what it is. And she wants him to what does she want him to do? She wants him to talk Deanna out of going or whatever. But he's just like, nah, I can't do that. It's a twin secret. Just like like I'm not telling Deanna about you and Joey. And she was just like, there is no me. Who said there's a me and Joey? And he was just like, you basically said it. So he was just like, I'm happy that you're happy. So that's what it is or whatever. So we cut back to Samantha, June, and Kat, and Samantha gets the call from Vanessa saying that he agreed, and so they're all excited or whatever. And Vanessa had gave Samantha's number to Donnell or whatever. So Kat leaves, and we see June and Samantha talking, and June is just like, she's wondering, she's like happy that Samantha she took to the Duprees and that lifestyle real well, and she hopes that they're not forcing her to do anything. And she's just like, they're not forcing me. I really like this. And then she goes on to explain what the cotillion means to her and the connections that she'll have after everything or whatever. So June is excited about it, and then they start talking about something, and she was just like, oh, those people are jelly or whatever. And then what's this girl's name? What's her name? Chessie comes in. So Chessie comes in, and she goes up to them, and she was just like, Jude, I placed the order or whatever. So June was just like, okay. So she goes to get the order, and so Samantha says, hey, Chessie, and she'll just like, my grandma, only my grandma calls me that. And she'll just like, yeah, my mama's name is June. I'm already loving their banter. So they come, they're at the counter, and Chessie is talking about how Samantha can't find a date and or can't find an escort, and she's just like, oh, I watched this film called Can't Buy Me Love. Maybe we can do that for you. Can't buy me class. Get it? I was just like, this alpha here. So, they're trading their little jabs back and forth. And so uh what's it called? Francesca was just like, oh, I could probably get one of the many guys that I turned down. Maybe I can see if one of them will take you or whatever. And so Samantha asked her, well, who's your escort? And she was just like, Nathan. And then June was just like, that bad boy. And so Chessie was just like, oh, not Chessie, Francesca. She was just like, oh my God, y'all dated for like 5 seconds. I hope you don't, I hope you're not one of those girls that's gonna be like shook when you see us in the room together. So June tells her, my baby wasn't the problem, it was him. And so Samantha tells him that Nathan has no respect for women, but maybe that's Francesca's thing. And so Francesca says, "Ooh, child," I was just like, "Ooh, this is terrible." She says, even in your Dupree makeover, she can see the resemblance on every level. And she's looking at June and Samantha. She was just like, no home training. But how can you have home training when you don't have a home? No wonder you can't find a date. I said, ooh, child, this little thing right here, this is who y'all say Cat is. This is who y'all say Cat is. So as she's saying that, Donnell walks in and he comes up to them and he hugs what's her name? Samantha. And he was just like, oh, I've been looking for you. And she was just like, oh, I want to introduce you to my mom. And so she introduces him to June or whatever. And he was just like, oh, I've heard so much about you. And June was just like what? And I was just like, ma'am, well, it's not that serious, but okay. So he was just like, oh, nothing but good things. And he was just like, oh, and then he was just like, oh, hey Francesca, you back from Paris? And she's just like, Switzerland. So he tells June, he was just like, oh, is it okay if I steal Samantha before I go back to if I can get some Samantha time before I go back to school? And so he takes her hand and they go sit down in a booth. And June tosses Francesca's order to her, and Francesca is just like she's all shook behind the fact that she got Donnell as her date. So she leaves, and they're sitting down at the table, and he was just like, was that too much?" And she said, "No, you're perfect." And she goes, "I mean, that was perfect." I said, "See, Samantha." Like I said, I'm already loving this. I have always like when I first started watching soaps, it was always like I watched it when I was little with my mom or whatever. Whenever I would get out of school, it was always Days of Our Lives. So I knew of soaps, and Days was the main one that I would watch. And then when I started like my own journey of watching soaps, when I started my own journey of watching soaps, I was in high school and I started watching it because of Days of Our Lives and The Last Blast Game. So since then, I've always been drawn to the young adult scene for on any soap. So I do like, again, I like the older generations as well, but because I normally catch on with the younger generations and I follow them into adulthood, that's why I'm so drawn to the young adult scenes of any soap that I watch. So when I started watching Young and the Restless, I started watching Lily and Daniel and Devon getting adopted. When I started watching All My Children, it was when you had the Fry, when they brought their daughter back, and Michael B. Jordan was on the show, and he had got adopted by Jackson and Eric, and with Jackson and Lily, his daughter. Like, I started watching that when I started watching General Hospital. It was when we had Maxie and Georgie, that whole little crew, Lulu, and all of that. That's like where I start, and then I follow them. As they get older or whatever. So me starting this show from the beginning, again, I fell in love with the whole entire cast, the whole entire crew. I was focused on the young adult crew. So it was like the Cats, the Chelseas, the Evas. That's who like I was drawn to, because that's just who I'm drawn to. So now that they're actually, hopefully, they're building on the young adults, that because as I'm recording this, the day that I'm recording this, because it's late, I apologize. We just found out that they casted Deanna. So it looks like they're bringing in young adults onto the show, the canvas or whatever. So we'll see how that goes or whatever. But anyway, so they're talking, and he's talking about his dad, and he's talking about when he did cotillion, and how he was initially nervous, and he thought he was going to fumble, fall down the stairs, spill food on his date's clothes or whatever. But when he saw his mom and his dad, all of that went away. So he tells her, if you get nervous, I'm gonna be here, but look for your dads, because when you see them, they're gonna pump you up or whatever. And so he starts to talk about his dad or whatever, and she's listening to him, and then she's talking to him, and just basically like giving him his ups and encouragement, and saying how his dad was so good to her and Tyrell. And um she tells him, like, I understand, like, you don't have to do this if this is gonna bring back too much memories about your dad or whatever. And he was just like, no, I want them, because this will get me to remember my dad or whatever. And she was just like, well, your dad left a lot of good in the world, and you're one of them or whatever. So they start talking about the clinic and how it's dedicated to his daddy, and she's asking if he's gonna come for the opening, and he's just like, yeah, or whatever. So it's just like, okay. So we see Wesley. He comes to visit June, and he thanks her for having his back and putting, talking good about him or whatever, but he has to go. She tells him, you don't have to go. We can find you a lawyer. I know a good one. Da 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 da. But he was just like, no, I gotta go. So he leaves. We see Vanessa. She's with Joey, and she's complaining about her daughter going on the date for a heart attack or whatever. And he's basically telling her, like, your daughter's of age, she's grown, she's gonna have to make her own mistakes. And what is this? You can't be a do as I say, not who I do. I said, Joey is a mess. So she ends up calling Deanna, and she's telling Deanna, like, she gets Deanna to cancel her date because she's gonna take her to go see something that it was that she liked or whatever. Um, whatever. Now that we're finally gonna see Deanna, I'm gonna have more. I want to, like, now, because again, when this episode aired, we had no idea that they were gonna be casting Deanna, because we've been asking for her, because she always mentioned Deanna, but we ain't seen Deanna. So at that point, it was just like, okay, whatever. If I don't get to see her, I don't too much care. But now that I'm about to see her, I'm gonna start caring, because I can't wait to see how she's gonna feel about her mom moving on so quickly with Joey. And then hopefully we get little nuggets, and they're gonna find out that Joey is the one who got dug up out of here. So hopefully that's where we're going. So we see Chelsea, and she has met Tomas uptown, and she's wondering why he's working there, and he's telling her, Hayley is tripping on him or whatever. So she initially gives Hayley the benefit of the doubt, saying maybe she has PTSD, and he was just like, nah, she been tripping before that. So then she's just like, maybe they reached their expiration date, so she wants to get some tea on what's going on. So he gives her a little bit of the tea or whatever. And so they like bounce ideas off of each other of what they think Hayley's been up to or whatever. And so Kat tells him maybe it's time for you to move on, like, go to another company if she's gonna make it hard for you, because she is the boss's wife or whatever. And he was just like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna let Hayley kick me out or whatever. And then he was just like, he wants to start focusing on Kat now. And she was just like, okay, bet, let's move in together. And that's how the episode ends, I think. I can't remember if it ended like that or was something else, but that's pretty much the gist of this episode. But yeah, so that was the episode. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you know whenever I post. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought about this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.